In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to complete problem number 5 from homework assignment 11. In this problem, we're using the data that we used from homework assignment 10, the height in feet and stories of various buildings in the United States. And we are comparing stories to height in feet, and we would like to predict the height of a building based on the number of stories. There's one question that we have to complete for this particular problem, and that is find the correlation coefficient, and we want to know if it's significant. In order to complete this problem, we first have to type the data into our calculator. I've already done that. As you can see, there it is. And I have the stories on the left and the height in feet on the right, because we were predicting the height based on the stories. Next, press Stat, go over to Tests, and we're going to do the lin-reg t-test again. And everything should stay the same as it was before. And then press Calculate. If you get a data type error like I do, just press Enter to quit, and then go to your y equals menu and clear out your y variables. It's confused that it doesn't have anywhere to put the linear regression equation. Then you can quit and go back to Stat and Tests and the lin-reg t-test. Now this should work just fine. And here is the data that we're interested in. The p-value is the p-value for the hypothesis test that we're going to do, although we're not going to write out the hypothesis test as we've been doing. We're just going to state the correlation coefficient and state whether it's significant. So let's look at this p-value. The p-value is 0.0003. That is well below the limit of 0.05. And so this will definitely be a significant p-value. Scroll down on your calculator and you'll find two numbers, r and r squared. R is the correlation coefficient, and since that's what is asked for here, I'll type that in. The correlation coefficient, okay, so r is equal to 0.9, what was it, 9037, 9038 actually, if you round. And since the p-value is 0.0003, this is statistically significant. Now the other number on this list is not being asked for in this problem, but I think I should mention it anyway, and that's the r squared value. That is called the coefficient of determination. It's generally expressed as a percentage, and so we would say that this is an 81.6 or 81.7% coefficient of determination. Now, one last thing before I finish this, and that is that this coefficient of determination determines the percentage of the effect of the output variable, the y variable, that can be explained by the variation in the input variable, the x variable. That's a really confusing way of putting things, but let me see if I can write this up in a way that makes more sense. Now, this means that about 81.7% of the differences in the heights of the buildings, oops, I spelled that wrong, can be explained by the differences in the number of stories. Which would make sense that a large percentage of the height of a building is determined by the number of stories. So you might wonder, well, what about the other 19% or 18%? Well, that's probably caused by, or maybe not, we try not to say caused in a situation like this, because it's the correlation does not imply causation. So we just say that it explains, or it can be related to. At any rate, the other 18% is probably related to things like the building materials used, things having to do with the architecture or the use of the building. Perhaps some of the buildings need bigger stories than others. I hate this. There. So Anyway, if a problem asks you for the coefficient of determination, then you just need to look for that r squared number right there on your calculator. Well, that's it for now.